Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is Dasho Rose here. Welcome back to another news-related video. Yep, we're doing another news-related video today. Now the other one I wanted to talk about, well, the last one was that I did was on Wendy's closing a bunch of locations down and all that. In that video I was talking about, a lot of the restaurants are kind of struggling and all. They've been kind of going downhill for a while. And I did say in that video I did have something, planned, but a good video or possibly good news. I just haven't, I didn't make it, that day. So, now today, I'm actually going to make the video. So, in this video, I'm wanting to talk about the, new McDonald's commercials lately. I've been noticing something. You guys see over there? You guys see that building? With the little M over there? See that? That is the older designs. Yep, that is the older designs. I've been noticing that they have been bringing them back more lately. Because they started fading them out. Even in the 2000s, they started fading out the red roof designs with a more simple design. I saw a lot of that. In the 2000s, especially when they were releasing stuff, because I think I believe it was Shrek, was, did a lot of toys and stuff at McDonald's. And I started noticing, I think it was 2007 or something like that, they started, changing their buildings up and all that, in the commercials. So they were using the modern one. However, it wasn't until, the mid, 2010s and all, when they started really banking on remodeling every location and all that. Now, unfortunately, we live in a world where there's hardly any red roof locations left. Most of them have gotten the simple design treatment, and most of them look shitty. Now, I know there's a handful of people out there, a very small handful of people that like them. But a majority of the people, including myself, hate the new designs. And do not like them. We don't like that they look all gray now. They look simple. They got rid of the iconic French fry roof designs. People basically were upset about that. But it looks like in recent years, especially this year, it looks like they're starting to bring them back in the commercials. So, does this mean we might possibly, I don't know, maybe in the future we might be seeing McDonald's, maybe they might remodel their designs back? It's a possibility. However, I've looked on Google, and, but by the way, this image is not from Google. I actually used YouTube this time around to find it, because, I didn't feel like going through, Google trying to search for these images. This is the Zootopia 2 trailer, by the way. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it's the Zootopia 2 trailer. There's not really a lot of animals out. It doesn't look like it. Well, I guess you got a wolf down there, and I got some animals over by the calf, or the cafe shop. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be coffee, or I'm assuming it's coffee. I don't know. But that's actually a pretty funny joke. It looks like there's giraffes over there too, so that's pretty cool. But, it looks like, though, again, they're bringing back the old style, which is, interesting, because, like I said, they phased all that, crap out in the mid-2000s. and all that, and then they slowly were remodeling all the locations and all, and then by by 2020, almost, like, right now, like I said, right now, almost all the locations are gone. There are a few that still have the older designs, but most of them are gone. And there actually was even some, ironically, there were some you could find that had, like, green roofs on them. We do have one in Missouri that still has, the black roof on it, which is iconic, but it also has a sunroof on it, which is pretty interesting, because even the ones in Jeff, or even, well, any of them in my area did not have a sunroof, So seeing that's kind of crazy. But yeah, like I said, it's very, very crazy. We're starting to kind of see that. So like I said, Google says they're not doing it. They don't have any plans to do it. But it seems like they're trying to bank on nostalgic. And yes, there are companies out there like, speaking of Zootopia, Disney does this shit all the time. They try to bank on, like, nostalgic and all that, and it doesn't seem to be working too well because they're still making the same mistakes. But with a fast food place and all, that's a little bit different because, there are some problems like McDonald's land being gone and all that, but they've also brought back McDonald's. We gotta remember, they brought back McDonald's land as, some toys. And they have been using more of the characters. Like, we've seen Birdie, Grimace, and, the Hamburger. They brought all that back. And they've brought back Ronald McDonald for a commercial. Which, yeah, he's still not used a lot. But the fact that they're going back to this route, I think possibly maybe they're realizing that people hate the restaurants now. People hate them because they are struggling. I mean, like, it's not just Wendy's. McDonald's and all of them have been losing popularity. And I'm trying to point it out. Like, even going to locations, I'm like, you guys, guys are clearly losing popularity. I'm not really a business person. I'm just saying, I'm literally pointing out the obvious here. I'm like, people are complaining, I shouldn't be getting into businesses, business and all that, but I'm just like, I'm kind of just tired of people, doubling and tripling down on something when the majority of people don't like it, there's gonna be points where people don't agree with everything, like I said, some people like the modern looks, which I don't really see why they like them. I don't really see, what is there to like about the gray boxes? I've asked people this question before. I didn't get really much of an answer. Some people are just trying to say, again, it's a way to keep kids from going to eat there. But again, I'm like I said, but in the last video, I'm like, people need to stop using kids as an excuse, because I'm an adult and I loved McDonald's growing up. I loved it. And I would love to see it go back to the way it was. You don't have to take your kids there. Nobody's pointing a gun at you or anything like that. You don't have to go there. I know that's probably a weird way of phrasing it, but that's what people act like. People act like they're being forced to eat at a specific place. And I'm like, you don't have to eat there. And like I've said, these restaurants sometimes offer healthier stuff too. Kids are gonna eat nuggets and all, but also these places used to have play areas. They designed them so, kids can get exercises. And yeah, there were some problems with that too, because, them not being cleaned very well. But with the equipment we have now and all that, I think we could probably clean them better than we did back then. Because back then, humans actually had to go inside the things. But yeah, like I said, it is kind of, a thing, like I said, that's been going on, but it does look like with this commercial and all, and some of the others, it does look like McDonald's is trying to go back to the way they used to be. I'm hoping they actually eventually bring back the old locations. They say they're not going to, but I think they need to. They need to go back to bringing it back. They need to go back to, making things work the way they used to. Stop trying to, stop trying to, just, do this and that, and trying to double and triple down on something people don't like, Just go back to, what made things work before, And I mean, it's okay to experiment, It's okay to do some experimenting, But, clearly people don't like this stuff. And it's not just McDonald's. Like I've said, it's Wendy's. Wendy's sucks, too, down with their restaurants. They don't have their plants in there anymore. Their carpet's gone. They look so basic. I know because we've had ours remodeled, more recently. I've actually been to a couple of them that have been remodeled, but, I'd go to the one by the mall all the time, and, they remodeled it, and it looks very basic and boring. And again, like I said, they're trying to do that, so it's cheaper for people to move in there, but again, at this point, you're losing more money than you are making it, so, I mean, you might as well just go back to, again, the way things worked before. Just go back to the way things worked before, Because making your buildings cheap looking and trying to bank on this, on modern stuff is not working. Because people do not want to go sit in a place that looks like a freaking dungeon or something. I would say a prison, but I don't know. I mean, I guess dungeons are usually more darker because, they're underground. Prisons are more, prisons are also dark too, because I actually did a tour at one point. But, I'm just saying, I don't know if I would say, I would say it just feels more I would say it feels more like a freaking office than anything. Like I say, it doesn't have much to it, But, yeah, I don't know. I just think, like I said, I think they need to go back, like I said, to make things work the way it was before. Because, like I've said, people just don't like the newer designs. And all that, and, and try to, like I said, there's gonna be times where things are going to change. I mean, that's just how the world is, nothing's gonna stay the same. Everything's gonna change, for the better or for the worse. But in this case, I feel like they should definitely change it for the better, because, like I said, they're gonna keep losing businesses and they're gonna keep going under. But if we're seeing these in the commercials again, I definitely think we're starting to go back to the way things worked before. I definitely think that's starting to happen. But I don't remember if they use this in, they use this in the McDonald's land commercial. I can't remember if they use this in other restaurants or not. But yeah, the fact again they're putting it in a commercial definitely is nice and all that. I don't know, I don't know, did the original Zootopia have that? I don't know, because I actually, now to think about it, Disney and McDonald's for a long time there quit partnering up for toys. They had some issues and all that. And then, and then McDonald's and all them eventually got an agreement again to make toys. Which, honestly doesn't surprise me because they kind of have the same kind of issues Disney kind of has anymore. They're more greedy and they're more expensive and they kind of taking away a lot of things people liked, and they keep trying to bank on nostalgic. But I'm really hoping McDonald's doesn't go this route. I'm hoping they actually go back to, again, like I said, making things work the way they used to and bringing back the old buildings and all that. And maybe other companies will follow it too, I don't know. Burger King's done it a little bit, but Burger King is still kind of like this too. Their buildings are simple. They're not as rare. They're like, you can still find them everywhere. their blue roofs and play areas. Now, they have talked about, remodeling their play areas. So there's a rumor on that. Like I said, it's a rumor. I'm hoping it ain't true. It looks like it's going to be smaller and all that, but I mean, I guess it does look like a castle-ish, thing, but it looks kind of like garbage too. So I'm hoping they aren't going that route, but I don't know. But I don't think I've got a lot else to say about this. I've kind of talked about this before in the last video, but I really wanted to bring this up because, I think this definitely may be a sign that we're going back to the way things used to be in a way, because I think they need to do this. They definitely need to do this, But, but that's the thing too. Like I said, McDonald's has gone in and, they've remodeled even their tourist attraction locations. Their themed locations, I should say. A lot of them are, gone. Actually, Missouri had one. Missouri actually they had one in, not Springfield, I think it's called Lebanon, I think is what it is. It's a Route 66 one. That one's still there. And it's been remodeled. However, I don't know what it looked like in the past. Because and I've said, I think I've showed it all before. I think I did, and said that it's been, I did actually go there and video it, but I did say in the, because I'm eventually going to upload those videos on YouTube, but I'm probably going to cut them out, because it's going to be a little bit easier, because I actually went to 2 different locations, because there was another McDonald's that was attached to a gas station. They were talking about shutting that one down and building a boring gray box, and I was just again, I wasn't trying to be rude to the employees. I was just saying, why do they keep doing this stuff? People don't like it, and the employees don't seem to like it either, so I don't get it. But, Holt Summit had their themed location and all that, so they had theirs too. But, Texas was a big one, and, like I said, they've been going out of their way and remodeling even their tourist attraction ones, which is very stupid, because that's the whole reason why people go on, to when they go on vacation, they want to go to these cool attractions and all that, and you're just taking them away. That is so, I don't want to say it like this, but that is so retarded. You should definitely not do that. But, again, I'm hoping that this means they are kind of learning their lesson. I'm just hoping that. But, I don't know. But, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and probably let this go. But I wanted to bring that up too, because that's definitely a big thing, too. Because McDonald's used to have themed, they have some, but not a lot of themed locations left. They're pretty much mostly gone. But, either that or they've gotten remodeled and they look like crap now compared to what they used to. But, anywho, I want to go ahead and let things go from here. See you guys all later. Bye-bye.